All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. The Dejounte Murray experiment with the Atlanta Hawks is officially in the books as the All Star guard is once again on the move. Now, yesterday, the Hawks sent Murray to the New Orleans Pelicans in exchange for a pair of first round picks, as well as Larry Nance Jr., Dyson Daniels, and EJ Liddell. Now, the Hawks have decided to go in a different direction after 2 years with Murray. You just look at it, and plain and simple, the guard dominant lineup of Trey Young and Dejounte Murray, it wasn't working. They were taking a bulk of the shots, and you could see the writing on the wall, honestly. And for me, once there was a change in the front office, bringing in the likes of Landry Fields, and then also, more importantly, a change at the head coaching position last season. And Quinn Snyder, remember, Snyder took over late in during the 2022-23 NBA season. Of course, midseason, Atlanta had parted with head coach Nate McMillan. And nonetheless, you think about Quinn Snyder, and for me, he preaches a lot of ball movement. And, you think about it with Murray. I know Trey Young had a lot of assists this year, but nonetheless, at the end of the day, both of them are ISO players. And, I said it this past season when the Hawks finished 10 games under 500 that, you know what, it was time for a change. Somebody had to go. And clearly, that somebody right now is DeJounte Murray. Atlanta, they're not going to have some more flexibility on offense. We saw the Hawks have the first overall pick in Thursday in Wednesday night's draft. On top of that, you still got Trey Young under contract, which is big for the Hawks. You still got Clint Capella, and it's going to be interesting to see what the next move or moves by the Atlanta Hawks is going to be. But the other big thing for me with the Hawks, you freed up some financial space there for yourselves by getting from under the contract, of DeJounte Murray. Now, the Hawks' loss on offense will definitely be the Pelicans' gain from a scoring standpoint. You look at the Pelicans, they have a lot of talent on this team, always hasn't lived up to expectations. And more importantly, one thing that the Pelicans have really lacked is a guy who can take over in the fourth quarter. And that's going to be very interesting to see if the Dejounte Murray will be able to fill that void with the Pelicans. So you look at it like this. If you're New Orleans, you got CJ McCollum, you got Zion Williamson, if excuse me, and when he's healthy. And then there's Brandon Ingram. I mean, Ingram is heading into the final year of his deal. He's set to make a little bit more than 36 million. Will the Pelicans look to shop him, or will they look to try to give him an extension? We've got to wait and see on that as well. But I'm not sure if either the Pelicans or the Hawks are done wheeling and dealing so far this summer. Like I said throughout this past season, once that second apron was agreed upon by the players and owners, it was, and it's showing so far that it's a game changer because I said we were going to see a lot of big name players being moved so far during this summer, and it's so far it is and it has happened. So you look at that, and then you also look at the fact that we've seen teams begin to stockpile a lot of picks for what is deemed as a very promising draft in 2025. Remember, this draft right here was very weak, and I know that the Hawks had the first overall pick, but it's a tough year, if you will, to go out there and have the first overall pick when the draft is weak. But you look at DeJounte Murray, a proven scorer, and for the most part, this young man has seen his productivity as a scorer go up basically almost every season since he's been in the NBA. Of course, he started with the Spurs, was traded to the Hawks, and now he's on the move again with the New Orleans Pelicans. So, for his sake, you're hopeful that he can find an NBA home and be consistent with it because at the end of the day, he does have talent. And for me, I'll say this about Dejounte Murray: right guy, wrong team when it came to the Atlanta Hawks. And that's not to discredit what he can do, because I think he is a phenomenal scorer. I just think his style and Trey Young's style, to me at least, didn't blend together, because they're almost somewhat the same player, even though Trey Young is a better scorer, in my opinion, than DeJounte Murray. But nonetheless, I think going forward, the Hawks can, have a little bit more balance, if you will. And I think DeJounte Murray has an opportunity to fill a void for the New Orleans Pelicans. You got CJ McCollum right there, a proven veteran guard. Like I said, the other big thing is keeping Zion Williamson healthy, and then also, what are they going to do with Brandon Ingram? Are they going to keep him, or are they going to trade him? We have to wait and see. But nonetheless, I keep saying this, and I'm not trying to sound like a broken record here, but I really do feel that this is just the tip of the iceberg as far as player movement so far this summer. We've seen the New York Knicks be very active. Now we've got the Atlanta Hawks. We just saw Paul George opt out of his deal with the Los Angeles Clippers. Could he be on the move? It looks like Klay Thompson has played his final game with the Golden State Warriors. And I keep bringing this up. You've got a Philadelphia 76ers team out there that has a ton of cap space. So, again, we're just getting started with the free agency and the trades around the NBA. Where this train is going to stop, nobody simply knows. But, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank all of you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you haven't already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now, you can check it out. Drop a line to be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I am signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.